Oh boy. So this is certainly a thing. Today we are revisiting the conversation that we had opened up yesterday. If you had seen the show earlier in the morning from yesterday, Tuesday the 25th, you would have seen this video right here. Pierre LeBrun giving the definite Habs trade price for Canadiens forward Jake Evans, and just everything that was going on with that situation, what Montreal would be wanting in some sort of an Evans deal. It was a lot less than we thought initially, because with all the rumors floating around that Kent Hughes and the Canadiens would be interested in a first-round pick or something like that, seeing Evans be placed on the market for a second does seem a little bit different. But this video is going over a different part of the Evans conversation, because last time we had talked about the trade price for this guy. Now we are talking about the asking price for the player and the agent. This is what was shared on BPM Sports Talk Radio earlier this morning. Jake Evans and his agent are reportedly asking for a 5-year, $20 million deal. $4 million AAV. 5 years long. That certainly is an interesting way to start out the morning. I don't know, man. I don't know. You can get your thoughts in the comments section. What is your initial response to this sort of a number? Just to get things out there, let's go and talk about Jake Evans, the player profile, before we dive into the comments of the R Habs thread. Evans, 28 years old, 6 feet, 185 right-handed guy. We had spoken about all this stuff and more yesterday, but his contract right now sees him making $1.7 million a year till the end of this season. The contract is expiring. If he were to sign an extension, which is 5 years long, it would take him into his mid-30s. He'd be 29 at the start of his next contract, and then you add 5 years, 34. Evans this season has 27 points in 58 games played, already close to having the best productive season in his NHL career. He is on pace for 16 goals and 39 total points. He's a middle to bottom six guy, maybe a bottom six center on a Stanley Cup championship caliber team. In Montreal, he has been played more so in the middle to bottom six with a top penalty killing role. He is one of the best penalty killers in the NHL. We all know this. He is so good in that position, especially alongside of Yoel Armia. But I don't know, man. $4 million a year? I mean, we were talking about him getting a pretty significant pay raise into the 3.2, 3.3-ish million dollar range, but 4. That's definitely interesting. Let's go back over onto the comment section thread of this Our Habs post to dive into what Canadiens fans are responding to when it comes to this info. So, he's asking for $4 million. That's not too bad. That's what they're looking for. So 3.5 or 3.75 should do it. What is Kent Hughes offering that isn't making it happen? With the cap going up, he pretty much is worth 3.5, maybe even a bit more, so let's make it happen. Jacques Evans is very optimistic with the number and the ask. Probably term is why Kent Hughes is not making this happen. Hughes is likely wanting 3 years max for the deal, if I had to wager a guess. I think the problem is the length, not the money, and that's what she said. Okay, we are not going to entertain that idea. The problem is not just the term, it's definitely also the money. You can't start paying fourth-line players $4 million and expect to be contenders. I like Jake, but he's not a central piece. He has a supporting role. If you pay him $4 million, that's your floor for other fourth-liners, and that's a problem. And this is the main sentiment that I think we have seen from Canadiens fans responding to the Jake Evans wants $4 million update. You're taking a look at some of these other comments here. One says that seems fair with the expected cap raise. I'm skeptical about that said raise. It's not official, and virtually every reputable economic forecaster is projecting major economic hurdles in Canada and the US based on trade wars. The number of good teams paying their fourth-line center this much is 0. Kotkaniemi is a fourth-line center with the Hurricanes, but yeah, their centers 2, 3, and 4 are all within a point of each other. I don't think they're particularly happy about Kotkaniemi either. So this argument still does hold up a little. If you think Jake Evans is a fourth-line center, you haven't been watching this team, Flaky Guitar 9018 says. On a contending team, which is the goal, Jake Evans is a fourth-line center, though. Right now he's not, but current performance is not the objective. This team isn't good. He's a 4th C on a cup contender. Give that money to him in deferred salary and bring the AAV to 3.5 or under. Easy game. The player has to accept the deferred salary option, though. If he was willing to, they probably would have already done it. You can't pay your fourth-line center $4 million. It will screw the entire balance of the cap for the team. Even most 3Cs don't make $4 million right now. That would have a John Tavares effect on the asks of everyone else to come. Evans is not 50% of Nick Suzuki. Huh. That's interesting. What an interesting way to project imagery onto what $4 million looks like. Is Jake Evans 50% of Nick Suzuki? That's an interesting question. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Because a lot of people will take contract dollar amounts and evaluate them just numerically in sequence. Oh yeah, like Mitch Marner is making $11 million. What would you rather have? One Mitch Marner or one $6 million guy and one $5 million guy, each of whom have playoff experience and a Stanley Cup? Like, there are different arguments and talking points that you can bring up with the numerical value of these contracts, and I think this one's an interesting one. Is Jake Evans 50% of Nick Suzuki? Is he a fourth-line center on a good team or a third-line center on a good team? I kind of went at the idea saying he is a third-line center yesterday, but I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether or not you think he leans more in that fourth-line center territory on a contender. Obviously, the Canadiens, they want to be a contender. That's the entire perspective we are thinking about this team with when it comes to these contract signings. Oh yeah, Nick Suzuki making $8 million. You've got Cole Caulfield, Slavkovsky, $7 to $8 million. If the cap does go up in the ways that we think it would, these contracts will be steals if these guys perform to the standard that we have of them. Jake Evans, I don't really know if anybody's thinking about Jake Evans as a guy who's necessarily getting quote-unquote better, but he certainly is doing a lot better this season compared to every other year. It's just, hey, are we seeing the best out of Jake Evans in this contract season? Or does he have another gear? Can he get 40, 45 points consistently in a season? I would probably bet to wager that this season might just be the best season that Jake Evans has or ever will have in the NHL. I mean, that's just kind of a gut feeling. I can't really substantiate that with any metrics. It's just kind of how I feel. I mean, the profile, 28 years old, contract year. Once he gets the money, who's to say he's guaranteed to be doing this every single season? If he does this every single season, then okay, maybe you can start to twist my arm into justifying $4 million AAV for 5 years. But I don't know. I can't really say with certainty that that profile is guaranteed. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think there's an entire bottom line effect with this conversation, with Jake Evans potentially making $4 million a year by 5 years, or not making $4 million a year by 5 years, him asking for that amount of money? Do you think it sets a standard that the rest of the forwards, especially in the bottom 6 of this team, will follow? Is that some sort of a red flag? I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Jake Evans and his future with the Montreal Canadiens. Do you see it happening with this team? Look at this comment here. Doc is playing like a fourth-line center and he gets paid $3.36 million. Yeah, that's a problem. Let's add another. It is a good example, though. Doc was paid 3.5-ish to try out its 2C. $4 million is a huge number for a 4C. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Jake Evans and his ask. Is it too high? Is it unreasonable? Would you be willing to pay this yourself if you were Kent Hughes? Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? I hope you enjoyed this video. Roll 9. By the way, the show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Check out the first link in the description to save some money on your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel in the process. And bye.